If you are trying to get into reading for the first time, or you're in a reading slump and you're trying to get back into reading, here are some books I think will help you either get into reading or help you get out of a reading slump. The first book that I would recommend to either get out of a reading slump or get into reading for the first time is called Almond. This is the author's name. I know I would butcher it if I tried to say it, so I'm not even going to try. One of the reasons I picked this book is because the chapters in it are very, very short, and so if you're not used to reading yet, or it's been a while since you've read and you're trying to get back into it, the short chapters will make that very easy to start off. But even though the chapters are short, they say everything they need to say. This author does a very, very good job at packing a bunch of information into short chapters, and although this is a pretty short book, you will get a lot out of it. The book also follows somebody that has alexithymia, and you get to see how this impacts his life and relationships, and you get to learn about somebody that a lot of people would see as like different from themselves. And so I think that you can be introduced into Korean literature while also learning about somebody that might be different from you, which I think is a great part of reading. And if you want to read about Korean history, but you're not really a fan of nonfiction books, I recommend Human Acts by Han Kang. I think this is a great book for people to either get started with reading or to get back into reading after a slump, because the writing in it is very beautiful. You learn while reading, and it's not that long of a book, and so it kind of reminds you of why people like to read, or why you used to like to read if you're in a reading slump. To me, this is a great book to like see the importance of reading, because you can both learn and you get so immersed in the world that you're in at the same time. If you're not in the mood for historical fiction, you want something more cozy and more of a feel-good type of book where you can kind of be by a fireplace or be on the beach and read something that's heartwarming, I recommend Days at the Morisaki Bookshop. This is a Japanese book that I think is perfect for somebody who's getting out of a reading slump. Partly because it talks about the love of reading. It follows a character who is going through relationship problems, is really depressed, moves in with her uncle who lives in a bookshop. She lives above the bookshop and gets to stay there rent free as long as she helps out at the bookshop. And it's such a cute book, but also helps people rediscover their love of reading, because the character rediscovers her love of reading in the book. And so I think this is a perfect book for somebody who's trying to get into that. Animal Farm by George Orwell. This is a classic, but it's a classic for a reason. It's not written in fancy language. It's written in a way that pretty much anybody of any age range can understand, but it packs a punch, and I think that this book also helps people realize why people love reading, or why you used to love reading before the reading slump. Although the characters are animals in this book and that seems all cute and fun, it talks a lot about politics and talks a lot about serious subjects about government and stuff, but it does it in a way where you don't feel like you're reading something too serious. You feel like you're reading a less serious book while getting very deep messages. Another book that I'd recommend is Tomorrow, Tomorrow, Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zinvin. This book is about video games and people creating video games, and a lot of people are like, I'm not into video games, why would I like this? But it's so much deeper than that. It talks about subjects such as disability and chronic illness. It talks about toxic relationships. It talks about grief. It talks about trauma. This book is very deep, but it does so in a way that is so easy to read. And I feel like, again, like you get so immersed in the book and the characters that it can remind you of why you love to read. And it can remind you that reading can be great because it can take subjects you might not be interested in, like video games, and make you interested in it. Another book is The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Gilman. This book is a great audiobook, and it's also very short to read or listen to. This book is about a woman that is slowly losing her sanity, and you get to see that throughout the pages. It's very short, very concise, but again, it packs a big punch, and I think that if you're looking for something quick and easy to read to get you back into reading, this is a great choice. If you are into nonfiction, I recommend A Dialogue on Personal Identity and Immortality by John Perry. You do not have to know anything about philosophy to read this book. It's an introductory book. It's very short, it's 40-something pages, and if you're looking for something that will get you thinking again, and you're looking for something to get you back into nonfiction, I do recommend this dialogue book. I know this video is long, but lastly, I'm just going to give some quick tips. If you tried all of that and you're still not into reading, or like you still can't get back into reading, read books that you loved growing up that will help reunite that spark that you used to have. So read series like The Hunger Games. If you used to love Harry Potter and you still own the books, and even if you don't want to support J.K. Rowling, if you still own the books and it's not like supporting her, you can read Harry Potter again. You can read the Divergent series, Percy Jackson, whatever it is that you used to love growing up that will help get you back into reading again. I also recommend trying autobiographies because I know for me personally, when I'm in a reading slump, autobiographies are something that's easier for me to either listen to or read. And I'm not able to listen to most audiobooks, but I can listen to autobiographies. And so you could listen to Britney Spears' book or just any book, and hopefully that gets you back into reading. Whatever works for you, please let me know down below. Please like and follow, and have a great day.